right here in studio where you get to take advantage of some pretty cool things. So let me tell you how it's going to work in case you didn't see the trailer. All right. So F1 Minute, like I said, is really about you, not about me. This is a platform that I created, unlike any other content creator, where you get to come on in the F1 space, at least you get to come on, give your opinion, debate, talk about the topic. Maybe you want to push back on my opinion a little bit. Do it respectfully, because at the end of the day, I do got the button for the trap door and you will slide through if I press that. All right. So with all things going on, don't come on, don't cap. So this is how it works. You need a desktop or a laptop. I don't care if you got to take your kid's school laptop if they're done with their homework first and have completed all their assignments. You come on, you get to come into the live audience, click that link. The link is in the description and or the live chat. All right. So if you see it in the live chat, you can go ahead, click that link. Once you come into the studio, all right, once you come into the studio, what's going to happen is you'll have the ability to go ahead and do a live call in. All right. Now, listen, if you have a cell phone, all right, and I got to give a big shout out to Will. I was supposed to get with Will so we could test this out for different platforms. If you have a cell phone, you can still join the live audience. Just turn down your YouTube. Then you come on in. But cell phones, tablets, I don't think you can go ahead and do the live call-in. So you want a desktop or a laptop. I'm going to make sure I get with my boy Will next time, probably likely this week before next Monday, which F1 Minute will be here live again, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to work that out, check it out, see all the ways that you all can use an avenue to come in and do a live call-in. But what's up? We're in another live race week. We got another race week up on us. We're about to be right into another GP. We're about to be right into free practice. We talking about practice, y'all. We're about to be in the qualifying. You know, we do the live quality kickback watch, but we also got a race this weekend for the little one. So we'll likely be here for a live free practice and or maybe that depending on the schedule. But we're going to be here either way it goes, twice live during this week, and definitely on race day, Sunday, where I'm going to make waffles for that Sunday, where you get to try to see what kind of waffles I'm going to make. But anyway, can we please talk about our soft topic? Now, I got a soft topic. It seems sometimes like people forget the past. People forget history. History always kind of comes back. It has a way of kind of coming back around, and an ingredient of that and kind of spicing up the future. So let's talk about some things. Let's talk about it, because we got time for people to come in, start live calling, get into the live chat. Everybody's welcome. Any type of fan, any type of driver fan, team fan, whatever the case is. But you should remember this. There was a time where Red Bull threatened to leave, to exit Formula One, unless something had been done about the Mercedes dominance. So Red Bull fans out there, let me tell you something. Please understand that maybe not all of you, maybe not some of the most of you, but there were a group of you that were complaining right along with Red Bull about Mercedes being so dominant. There is still a group of you still throwing the so-called insult that Lewis Hamilton is only great because of his car. Well, like I've asked you, what do you got to say about Max Verstappen right now? Would he be winning championships if it had not been for 2021, the scandal? No. Would Max be winning championships right now if he didn't have the fastest car on the grid in the RB19? No. Now, Max still talent debatable, but I'm just saying this really was true. This really did happen. If anybody wants to comment on the soft topic, to come on live and say what you got to say, you can still come in live on a soft topic. But this is a real thing. Okay, this is a real situation that took place. These are real feelings and words that were expressed by Christian Horner, even so. But listen, it's not the only thing. Did we not even last year, hear about Max complaining and talking about possibly leaving Formula One if the sprint's not right and if this is not right? So is it the Red Bull way to cry until you get championships? Is it the Red Bull way to cry until you get your way? Is that the Red Bull way? I want to know right now, has anybody heard of Mercedes, Ferrari, Alpine, Haas, Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri doesn't count. Has anybody heard of these teams, McLaren, talking about quitting Formula One unless somebody stops Red Bull right now? If they have, let me know. Point out this source. Let me know where this is being said, where this is being reported, so I can see which team that is, and I will talk about them as equally. But I don't know if that's the case right now. I don't know if we've heard that. I don't know if we've seen that. But I can tell you that indeed Red Bull did do that. And you see it right there for our soft topic. So as we enter into the, it must be Christmas. Must be Christmas. Will is calling in early. Bro said, I'm kicking it off. Y'all better get in the song. What's up, my brother? From another mother, Will. What's happening, bro?
Christmas in May. Let's
Christmas,
get it on.
man. I got to love Christmas in May. You got your present right here, the F1 Minute. Go, bro.
Love it. So, thanks, Jay. Coming to you live. It's another WPPN segment sponsored by Pemberton Pastries, purveyors of perfect piquant P1 honey buns and waffles. Because if you don't know, now you know. Next topic. A statement from Wildcat Racing's team principal, Mary Benny, on their lead driver Wildcat at the last grudge race hosted at the WPP Miami GP grudge race. Mary is quoted as follows: "So proud you came through, never gave up, and I always believed you could do it. I watched it back several times. Every time I see it, makes me cry with happy tears. Let's go on to the next race with a positive mindset. That's why I've supported you since race one. So once again, so proud of my driver Wildcat. Still we rise." End quote. Well, there wasn't a dry eye in the Wildcat Racing garage that evening. Back to you, Jay.
Big shout out. Yo, we going to give a big shout out to Wildcat. Listen, if you don't know, you should know. I don't know why you don't, but we do have the Wolfpack Effort Grudge Racing Series where you literally can come and enjoy some racing on the weekend and even some crashing on the weekend where Formula One is taking a break. We are not. And you get to come on. We host a live event. Many drivers from around the world, and Wildcat happened to get, I believe, his first race win, and it was an epic fashion. The entire race was awesome. I mean, it went down to the wire between Broken Hypocrite. Big shout out to Brian Miller, DPZ production, Delta Zero Productions over there. My fam, my boys, also Justice, man. Appreciate you all. But yeah, it was a good event. You got to come on there. Anytime Formula One's not racing, you can come to Wolfpack Performance Platform, and we'll be doing esports racing. All right. Big shout out to Blakely as well, champion from the McLaren Shadow team. So, we're off the soft topic. We're off the soft topic. You had WPPN Network. Will hosted that, giving you a little bit of spice of what's going on in our life. Now, let's get into this. Max over everything. That's what we hearing. Max over everything. Helmut Marko decides to check Checo. Now, there are some things that I want to know from you all. All right, this is a show where you call in, give your take, give your opinion on the topic at hand. All right, if you don't do it, then guess what? It's going to be an easy night for me. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go enjoy some good quality QT time with my wife and something soft, and I'm going to chill, okay? Might give me a honey bun, relax, and take it on in. Don't let me do that. Take advantage of this opportunity. These are the things I want to know. What should Checo do? Should Checo stay or go? All right. Should Checo accept this? Should Perez look for other pastures out there to go ahead and graze into greener grass? But remember, sometimes what they say, if the grass is green on the side, there's a couple of things that can be true. Either water bill's high as hell or it's painted. All right. Don't always necessarily think because you go over to the other side and the grass is greener that it's going to be great and luxury. Is Checo in the best place for him at this point in time? Okay. Helmut Marko checks him, says, hey, Max is always going to be the number one. He's always going to be the favorite. Always. Pretty much, it's almost like being in a job where there is no upward. The ceiling is right there. If you even put yourself on your tippy toes, you're going to crack your neck. The ceiling's right there. What do you think about this? Is this a dynamic that just pretty much should always exist? Yo, we got our number one, and we're always going to support that number one above and all. And I'm not going to say he, because I'm hoping one day that Formula One has its first female driver on the grid in a 1 or 2 seat that actually takes the lights out at a race. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping for that. All right. Big shout out to F1 Academy and what they're doing. We will still be having something like that. I'm going to get probably with my queens on that, and we're going to try to sit and have a talk up on that, as well as I might involve Will on that. So, yo, what are we going to do? What should Checo do? Should he just accept this glorified number 2 driver role? I mean, it's not all bad, is it? It's not all bad, right? Checo was sitting there in the fastest car on the grid, one of them, unless maybe tinfoil cap, they do some electronic tuning and detune his car sometime. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying is a possibility. Yes, a possibility. Did it happen? I don't know. I just know I see what I see sometimes, and I wonder why it happens. I don't know if they're going to continue to maybe debacle his tire strategy. It was funny. I walked into the karate dojo and Sensei said, soon as I walked through, I didn't even get to say what's up yet because he was so adamant. He came to me and said, what the F What the F? Why did they not start Checo on hard tires? I said, hey, I don't know. I just know evidently it must be more than just a few of us that think that Checo should have had the same tire strategy. He said, because you want to know what, Jay? In the fastest car in the grid, and he's a Red Bull fan, Max Checo, all that. He's a Red Bull fan. He also races like in a whole thing. I think he races what does he race? SMA. He races something. I've seen his vet. It's legit. But he's always out there. And he says, you know what? I do not believe the hard tire would have hurt him. Even if Alonso would have got in front of him, he would have got that back by the third lap. I said, hey, you know what? You race. A lot of people that don't race say you ain't right. And you know, quarterback armchair, we Monday quarterbacks. All of us are Monday quarterbacks unless you have a job on the grid, unless you are an engineer, unless you are a driver, a reserve driver. I don't care who you are, what you do, what your platform is, how big you are, how small you are. If you're not an employee of a Formula One F1 team on the grid, if you're not a Formula One driver with a super license, you're a Monday quarterback when you give your opinion. I am too. I just do it here. So everybody has an opinion. What would have happened if things would have been different? Who would have known? But I think Checo in this situation, I know how I would feel. If somebody comes to me and tells me that it doesn't matter what you do, you're never going to be promoted. You're not going to be promoted to that number one seat. Even if we see that you likely can earn it on merit, you're not our guy. You're not the one that we want as the partner. We're not gonna make you partner. All right. You can close as many cases as you want. You can bring us all. SCCA, bam, big shout out. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That is what it is. SCCA. You can bring all the clients you want. You can bring a multi-billion-dollar account. Max will always be favorite over you. What should Checo do about that? For itself, where could Checo possibly go? Is there another team out there that would actually take Checo from Red Bull, accept him to come out of there? And if so, is Checo going to a team that is going to develop a car that is going to give him the opportunity? Not so much about racing Max. If Max is there, number one, then that's, of course, who he's going to have to race against, just as he is now. But is there a team that's going to provide him the machinery to possibly be a world champion? And does Checo have the driving craft and ability to take that machine and become a champion? These are the questions. Will says he got to take on Checo, and we're about to let it go right now. F1 minute, bro. Here you go. Bow. What you got, bro?
All right, so here comes the hot take.
Okay, let's go.
As far as Sergio goes, and we see this a lot in Formula One, and it piggybacks on a lot of the things that you're saying right now. It's not gonna be the champion contender, that kind of like, it's just not going to happen. We know when we see the number two driver at a lot of teams. Most recently, we see it even with Mercedes. That's happened. We've seen it with Ferrari with somebody like Rubens Barrichello. There's a thing where if there's a number two driver there, they're going to pick up all the other points for the team so they can win that constructors title because they know they already have a lock with the driver's title. I just feel like that's going to be the same situation with Perez. And the same thing as far as what you're saying, like it doesn't matter what money he brings. He brings Carlos Slim money, which is the biggest telecom giant down in Mexico. The guy's worth like $100 billion. It doesn't matter what he's bringing to the table as far as the money and the sponsorship goes. He's been with that guy since he was with what was it, Force India, all these teams like from the beginning of his career. So I don't think that's gonna really change anything, but he can walk away with being a race winner. He just had his 30th podium. I think it was his 30th podium in Miami. So there's certain things that he can still walk away from this and still have a good career, make a lot of money, go do some other things outside of the sport. So I think that's just kind of where he's sitting right now. You know, it's never going to be a championship season. I know it's a hot take, but
damn, but is it? That is probably the truth. And Will lays it down like sometimes the truth is not necessarily what you really want to hear.
It's like that.
And that's for real. But it's not all bad. Racer X210 coming in. He says Checo moving to new team. Let's see what he has to say about that. What's going on, Racer X210? I'm about to go ahead. I'm about to give you an F1 minute right now, bro. Here you go. What's the business? What's your take? What's your take?
All right. Well, first off, I want to say once again, congratulations to Wildcat for an awesome win. Great job, man. I'm gonna have to say, Checo's contract is ending next season, if I'm sure. I believe for him, if he truly wants to win a championship, he needs to make the move to join a team that can be a high contender. Either
Okay.
be most likely Ferrari. I would
Okay.
I would move Carlos Sainz because
Okay. Okay.
he's not producing.
Okay.
And Charles, he can produce, but he pushes that edge to where he loses it in the most critical moment. Checo has been in that moment and he has held his own, as we all seen in 2021 when he was holding up Hamilton. That man can do it. So if you give that man a good, fast F1 car and he's going up against Max, it will be a damn battle, and I will pay money to go see that in person.
Oh, F1 says they got your money for a ticket. If that happens, if that situation happens, you're buying an F1 ticket.
Yes,
Whoa,
I
that's
will. I will surely go.
hey. My bro said, listen, Checo, if you make that move, bro, Racer X210 is saying that he will pay money to come see that. Meanwhile, in the YouTube live chat, Mary Beanie, big shout out. She says, Marco, blah, blah, blah. And I can see Checo going to Aston Martin. And Nick's time is soon up at AlphaTauri. And Danny Rick in Maxi Pad changed is coming. She hit on some topics that we are definitely going to talk about tonight. In that one super chat, big shout out to Mary Beanie for that super chat. Also, big supporter of Wildcat ever since the beginning. Never left his side, even when he was losing out. She stayed with him. That's loyalty right there, and that's what I appreciate. So yeah, Ferrari. We've also heard that being tossed around. We heard that being tossed around with Lewis Hamilton, right? Lewis Hamilton situation with Mercedes. They dropped the ball massively. This does happen over the course of time in Formula One. Like it happens over the course of time in all sports. I don't know where people think like you get to the top, you stay at the top, nobody else manages to knock you off the top, or you manage to knock yourself off. I do believe that the situation at Mercedes, I'm crediting them more so than not for their own failure right now. They got fat, they got comfortable in the organization, not Lewis Hamilton. I don't think Lewis Hamilton got comfortable on Valtteri. George Russell definitely didn't get comfortable as he was coming from a crap box for sure at Williams. I think the organization, even Toto himself, got comfortable to the point where they thought they could try something all willy-nilly. And I understand the situation where numbers might have been incorrect and we got all this. But at the end of the day, I think like fat cats and like people that are accustomed to being at the top and running a dynasty like Mercedes did, I think they got comfortable. I think they got complacent. And I think they allowed themselves to do something that maybe they would not have done had they been maybe closer into the fighting pit. You know, once you kind of get up there and you're looking down from the mountaintop and you're comfortable and you're like watching the wars go on as you're just piloting on, kind of similar to like Red Bull. Red Bull is just racing Red Bull right now. Two RB19s are racing each other on the grid, and the rest of the grid is just, hey, you do what you can do from 3 and back, right? 1 and 2 is almost allocated most definitely to Max and Checo, or Checo and Max in that order. In the third place podium likely belongs to Aston Martin, with Alonso and Mercedes coming to fight for that, which I know a lot of you are looking this week for Imola coming up. I know you're looking for Italy to come up. You're looking for Imola to come up and see what are these updates going to look like. We're going to have a live event, live show. We're going to talk about all that this week, so come here, join us for that as well. But yeah, Checo is in a situation, his contract is coming up. Now, I'm going to say this, Checo, I'm sending a message out to you right now. Bro, do not let them give you a lesser bag than you should have got last time, bro. Your bag should have been, whoever your management team was failed you in that manner, okay? You have to survey what's available. What's better than Checo right now available? It's definitely not Danny Rick, okay? Danny Rick's in her rehabilitation mode, and likely he's about to get activated, and I'm going to talk about that if he should do that, because Danny Rick has some very important decisions to make that could definitely define the rest of his Formula One career. And Nick DeVries, already on onset of having a career, is about to have no career, okay? But they got to look out there. You need to make sure Perez gets that bag. If Red Bull need a good number 2 driver for Max, this is just facts, okay? You need that. We saw how vital, how important, and the contribution that Perez brings to Red Bull. Without that contribution, they can go ahead and kiss not only possibly a driver's championship away, but they can definitely kiss the constructor's championship goodbye. It's not happening anymore. So, Checo, you are important, brother. You need to make sure that you get that bag. If they don't want to pay you a nice bag, then tell them so be it. You out of there. If Danny Rick can get the bags that he got, I'm not hearing any reason why Checo, doing what we have seen him do, does not get the bag. He better get a bag. I'm talking about Checo for about 18 million, 20 million bands. That's what I'm talking about. Checo up there. Checo, get the check. Don't let Helmut Marko just check you. Make him write the check for Checo, Minister of Defense, okay? That's what I'm talking about. So listen, we're about to get out of this segment. We're about to move into the next segment. A team who thought that they were doing some awesome things, thought they had the dream coming, supposed that everything that they were doing was going to be correct and happening. So it was not correct. What they did not really help them. I don't think it helped them. And I know everybody thought when Gasly went here it was going to be just the hottest thing smoking, and it hadn't been. It hasn't been the hottest thing smoking. Not at all. Not one bit. Okay. Alpine has underperformed this season after going on a much bit. Whoa, Wildcat, day one grudge race. Okay, we gonna let Wildcat get in here for a second with his hot take. You know what I'm saying? Race winner from this weekend before I kick it in on this topic. Wildcat, my brother, what's going on, man? What's going on? I'm about to give you, I see you with the Performance Talk shirt on. I'm about to give you an F1 minute, bro. Go ahead. You in. Let's go.
All right, so we're gonna close that first one out with this little food for thought. Perez with forced racing point. Ocon couldn't handle him. The only way he could was by doing something stupid on track to screw Perez's race up.
True.
Let's move forward with that. Somebody needs to tell Papa Stroll, your son is garbage. Get him out of that seat. Perez, leave Red Bull, go to Aston Martin, pair up with Alonso, and y'all go to work and make Aston Martin great. At that point, hey Red Bull, y'all got that free open seat. You can move Yuki to Red Bull, or you can go ahead and grab Liam Lawson and put him in that seat, or you can promote Iwasa from F2, put him in Red Bull. That solves that problem. Perez has a seat, and he's got a car in that Aston Martin that he can probably drive that thing balls to the wall harder than Alonso will, and probably be able to get the higher results, and then show Max what the hell he do. And at that point, Red Bull gonna realize, well, we fucked up. Sorry.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. You saying it's a wrap on that then?
It's a wrap at that point. And so that way you keep your Mercedes pairing together, you keep your Alpine pairing together. Every other team keeps the pairings they got. You just shaking up a couple of seats. Everybody's gonna be happy.
Boom. I like it. That actually, I know a lot of people have been saying Ferrari, but Wildcat brings up an interesting one with Aston Martin. Would Aston do you all think it would be a better move, even more for the future of Aston, to move off of Alonso and on to Perez? I don't know what you all think about that. Let me know. I mean, Alonso's been doing an awesome job in the AMR 23. I mean, credit to the car as well. I mean, because Alonso hadn't been doing much at all this entire time, and we know he was with Alpine, and he ran away like a spoiled kid in the night, lifted up the window, hopped out on Alpine social media, jumped right on into Aston Martin, and ever since then he's been doing his thing there and making sure that Papa Stroll, as Wildcat calls him, knows that he's very supportive of not only the team but his son, and I will be here to mentor him like a big brother, Papa Stroll. So don't send me anywhere. Just give me that big bag coming up again. But yeah, we got a situation. Alpine, okay? Alpine has been underperforming. 2022, fourth. Whole thing best of the rest. They were coming into this season, getting ready to make another leap. I think, honestly, I wonder if anybody in the organization was not on board with the driver pairing of two young men who were once toddlers who fought tooth and nail on the track, because I'm going to go ahead and give credit where credit due. Ocon, you was doing your dirty, spicy business out there, brother. You was doing some bad boy piston stuff out there. When you hit Gasly on that corner, you clipped him up. But I see what you're doing. You race hard, and I don't know if I can say you race hard and you race fair, but you race hard, and maybe you shouldn't have done that, but you did. And now they're in together in Alpine, and I did not think that this was the best pairing. I thought that this was an accident waiting to happen. I predicted it coming into the season. I said that these two would come together, and I thought it would be Ocon more than Gasly, but it ended up being Gasly and takes out both cars, okay? So now even in that, you got Alpine right now sitting sixth. 2 spots off from where they were, where they ended the season last year. Now, this is just presently. We still got a lot of racing left, but still, I don't think they are where they anticipated or expected to be, even at this point in the season. Not to mention that last season you had Ocon placed 8th, okay, in the driver championship. And if I'm wrong on these stats, definitely correct me on that. Got no problem with that. This is more about you than it is me. Do it. Click the link in the description, or the live chat is pinned, so you can come on in and give your live hot take. But right now, and Alonso was 9th at that point in time. At this point, in this juncture in our road in Formula One season of 2023, Ocon is 4 spots down in 12th. And Gasly is a spot down from where Alonso ended in 2022 in 10th. That ain't great. That's not great. That's not great at all. That's not the direction at least you want to go in. Like I said, there's still a lot of racing to do. There's still a lot of places to be made up. There's still a lot of things for teams to develop. Uno says in the live chat over on Wolfpack Performance YouTube channel, it says Marco gave DeVries a yellow card to get his act up. Yo, we're about to talk about DeVries in a minute. They ain't DeVries time yet, but we about to get freezing with DeVries in a minute. I'm about to get real cold on my bro. Got to. Will coming in with Alpine. Let's go.
I don't know where to start.
Oh, man, you starting where you want, brother. Go ahead.
So here we go. I mean, I can call back in like probably twice on this. I mean, Alpine
do that.
there's a whole entire, it's a mess. So I think you've got Safnauer that thinks that they're maybe going in the right direction because they're supposedly selling a share of the team, the Alpine side, but not the engine side, just the Alpine F1, that facility out in
Okay, so not
out in
at
the
all.
UK, but not the Fury side. So he thinks that that's going to give him an infusion of money where they'll be able to do some things with that, to do some development and stuff. It's kind of like the Toto, Ineos, Mercedes thing, where Toto kind of like came in as the third partner. It's 33% for each partner that's involved in that, and that gave Mercedes a little bit to take a little bit off their shoulders, so then they can go ahead and do some other things and not have to worry about the whole entire share of what runs an F1 team. So I think there, he thinks there's some things promising by doing that.
Okay.
What then? Some of the other problems is that they moved around a lot of people, with Laurent Rossi being there. So let's just go down the list. You've got
Okay.
he's gone. You've got Alan Prost. Alan Prost was there as a, what was he, like a kind of like just
mentor, kind of
just there as like a consultant. So he was
right.
there as well. He's gone. Cyril Abiteboul, he's gone from the days when Ricardo was there. So you've got all these people that are gone now. It's all these things that are moving around, these moving pieces. So I'll let it there on that. But there's still other things with Alpine that I can go in on.
All right, and he will go in on because he can call in as many times as you want, just like you can. Live link in the description and the live chat. And yeah, he's right. And I'm about to talk about Rossi because I'm with him on this. I'm with him on this, and there's some 2 things can be true. I'm with him on what he said, but I'm thinking maybe there's a better way he could have done it. Okay, I think there's a better way he could have done it to preserve team morale. All right, because that's always important. Team morale is important. And I'm not just talking, when people say team, people think just the drivers. I'm talking about the engineers. I'm talking about the mechanics. I'm talking about the marketing team. I'm talking about everybody that plays a part in making the team successful, putting the team out in front of people and viewerships to gain fans and revenue and money, making the mechanics come in to feel a part of the team so that they do the best job they can on building and constructing and repairing and developing that car so that the drivers can do the best that they can do on having the machine and feeling comfortable and then go out there and having the confidence to win. I don't know if the way Rossi did that was the best way, but I do know it was one way. And he called them out on their damn front street shit. He did. And he probably should. And he's like, listen, if you don't get your act together, heads will roll. And Will says it's time for part 2 to go. I'm telling you, Will, hey, take advantage of this. Will said, I'm going to eat all day at this table. I'm going to eat. Yum, 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 yum. Go ahead, Will, get it.
2 more guys that are gone. Nick Chester, technical director, he's out. Peter Machin, head of Aero, he's out. The only person that's gonna probably save this whole entire thing is Pat Fry, and anybody that knows where his, where he's come from, Ferrari days. We're talking like the Ross Brawn days, the Aldo Costa, all these people that I always talk about, that Mary talks about, that were from the previous years, that were there during those winning years with some other teams. So Pat Fry's been around for McLaren, Benetton, and Ferrari, so Manor. So he's been around for a long, long time. He's been a race engineer for people like Martin Brundle, things like that. So he's been around for quite some time. I think that's the only thing right now that might be a saving grace because he's coming in as CTO. It's just Laurent Rossi right now is like, I think of him as like the boss that always comes in and wants to like ruffle feathers and cause fear amongst everybody, but doesn't bring any type of leadership to everybody around him. So he'll just say all these
Right.
different things, but then like, here's a couple quotes. This makes no sense to me. To come in and to say, of course, we have the whole amateurism thing. We heard that and all that, but to
Right.
say that we're not going to change the 100 race 2023 target, that's nuts. You're not going to make that as a boss, as the overall boss, should be changing that. Then he says things um, as if they need
Hold
to
on.
secure
Hold
how.
on. Hold that for part three. Hold that for part three. Hold that for part three. Hold it for part three. Because I want to talk about that. Listen, I'm gonna let Will hold that for part three because I wanna talk about something he just right there. A leader that comes in the ruffle feathers but doesn't bring any real leadership qualities. Hey, like I said, multiple things can be true. Will definitely says something there that could be true, and a lot of, not a lot, but some people feel that way. They feel like these things, and Will's going to come back and read more quotes off. And then I like that he brought some quotes because I'm going to hit on those and kind of go around those because he's going to bring up some good ones. My man kind of contradicted. Malachi says, "Hey Jay, are you buying F123 on release for grudge racing purposes?" That's a good question, and I will answer that because, as you all should know, we are having that giveaway. All right, we are having that giveaway toward the end of the season, and it's not just a giveaway. You're going to have to earn it through racing, and we will do that. So somebody's going to get it. I'll do my own commercial, right? I'll do my own commercial. People are going to be paying for commercials on this channel soon. Wolfpack F at Grudge Racing will have a grudge race competition toward the end of the season of Formula One. You will need to be a Wolfpack member of the channel for 6 months or more. That package will include everything you see right there. The winner, the number one, the uno, the benefacto will get the F1 Fanatic steering wheel. You will also get that Fanatic base that is going to be PlayStation, Xbox, and PC compatible. You also will get those Fanatec pedals that you see, Club Sport, right there. That's what the winner's going to get, among a bunch of other things. So yes, that is a good question. What we will do is we will poll that toward the end to see how many people have bought into the carbon copy and paste from F122 to F123. I'm not knocking you, but y'all got to do something better. And we might get on with Delta Zero Productions and have an episode on that, talk about that. But we'll see where everybody is toward the end of the season, how many people actually have F122, how many people have F123, and we'll run from there, okay? Likely everybody will have 22, but if there are enough people with 23, we'll move forward. But yes, I think it still is his job to come in and say something. But like I was saying, you can do things a better way. But I'm not mad at the way he did it, right? Because he's calling them out. I don't think the driver pairing was the best thing. They do need to do better. Gasly getting away without a penalty was horrible. The team is underperforming. They're having these accidents. But like Will said, there are a lot of things that are missing. So we can't sit here and have a double standard. Mercedes have lost a lot of components, and Mercedes made some bonehead decisions, but they lost a lot of components trying to stay underneath that cost cap, whereas Red Bull didn't. They hired these same employees, gave them more money, and so be it. All right. Alpine, with that being said, yeah, if that can impact a top running team, why do you not think that that's going to impact a new arising midfield team? Also, if you go back through the years, they've done substantially well in that mid pack, right? I think maybe third in what had it been? Maybe, I don't know, 2020, 2019. Will correct me. 2020, 2019. I think they were third in the World Constructor Championship. And I also believe it was Perez, Checo, who was there when they had that position. So I would like to see Alpine get it together. But Otmar, I'm going to tell you something, bro. I'm going to tell you something because Will's going to come back and read some more quotes. I'm going to tell you this right now. Your job, I do believe, your job potentially is on the block, not the chopping block, because they don't got the axe out yet. They just got it on the block, nice, sitting there chilling. It's just a block right now. Until the axe man comes out, it's not a chopping block. It's just a block wood. But Otmar, I do think your position could be at risk, bro. You better get this together. First of all, you better get your drivers together, help them understand what and where they need to be and what they need to be doing. Next, your incoming talent in Gasly, you better get him up because he's supposed to be this next best thing coming for Alpine. And I told you, this was also a make or break season for Gasly. We're going to see what he's really made of because we thought going to Alpine he was in a better car, and I do believe he's still in a better car, but he ain't really doing better than me, okay? So Almar, that's your job too, bro. You need to get on it. And Almar's has some very good, some nice perspectives that I also agree on with him as well. But bro, don't ask. You sit up there and ask on a conference talking about, I don't know why he will say these things. Yes, you do. You know why Rossi would say these things. Because he doesn't like the outcomes. He's not liking where the team is. He's not liking where the team is going. And I'm gonna tell you this. If we by round 10 see that Alpine is also 10th, like they done sunk so low as like the number 10th, the 10th last team on the grid. If we see that, if you telling me they sink below AlphaTauri, they sink below Haas, they sink below Williams, man, it's smoke in the city. Will coming on part 3. I'm ready now, bro. I'm always ready. I'm always ready to go. I don't like to procrastinate or delay. Let's get it on, bro. Let's get it popping. F1 minute. Go. Lights out.
So these quotes, this was cracking me up. I don't understand how you tell the team that you have to give an effort of 500% or suffer the consequences. What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Like, do 5 times the effort and then I'm okay if you do that. But if you don't, suffer the consequences. Like, he's going ham. Like, and I'm not talking about Lewis. He's going ham. Like, this is too much. It doesn't make any sense. That just doesn't make any sense. But then the contradictions, that's where he lost me. So
let's go.
Here we go. So this whole entire thing, he says he needs to tackle issues, all the issues that are going on. Then he comes out and says that he needs the team to tackle the issues, and it's not up to him to. That makes absolutely no sense. That's a contradiction. Okay. Then he says that he hopes that the team come up with a diagnosis for all these issues, but then he said he will tell the team what the diagnosis is. Right. What does that mean? I have no idea what he's talking about right now. Like, this dude really is just the type of person that he's always trying to deflect any of the issues that him being the CEO, he's trying to deflect all the issues when it comes to him. He can't say Safnauer as the team principal should be handling all these things, but then at the same time you're not taking any of the blame if you're supposed to be his boss. Apparently Safnauer can't make any type of real decisions, and they're kind of stopping him. He can only make recommendations to anybody above him. It's a waste of time. And they also said this might be, is a rumor, they all feel like this is just a marketing exercise for Alpine. Because we all know that's all like a part of Renault. And they're like, is this just a marketing exercise? Is this what we're doing? Because we know that's a big thing with Formula One. This is like,
true.
It's marketing. It's a big marketing thing. So that's the other rumors. I don't know.
True. Hey, listen, if any of you all, big shout out to Dave Chappelle, a king of comedy, post the original king of comedies, but a king of comedy, Dave Chappelle, big shout out to you. Had a skit, Rick James, Eddie Murphy skit. And, Rick James comes in on Eddie Murphy's couch, white couch with his muddy platform boots. And he just stomps him up. Says they can afford another couch. He says, I didn't never put my feet on Eddie's couch. And he said, you know what? I might have put my feet on Eddie's couch, but he can afford another one. That's what kind of similar to Rossi did. All right, so 500%. Listen, let me tell you something. You give me 500% extra credit, and I will forgive you doing all these mistakes. Rossi, I ain't gonna lie. Right there when I heard that, I was like, 500% more? Good God Almighty. This man is going to charge the utmost highs for anything. You go to a yard sale, an estate sale, a flea market sale, you go to a car salesman, a deal he is not going to give you. 500% markup, that's almost worse than the new vets that came out because they were hard to get. You're supposed to get them for like 60 grand. People were out here buying them for $120,000, $250,000. That's what Rossi doing. And then let's get on this one. I'm not going to lie. You tackle him, and then, no, you tell your team. But the most one, like the diagnosis one, is the one that got me, okay? They need to diagnose, but then I will tell them what needs to be done, what the diagnosis is. Okay, so maybe it's cold in his words. Maybe he's like, you all better diagnose the problem, or I will tell you what the diagnosis is by telling you all, because inevitably, maybe part of his position, the responsibility and the grant that he has is to move personnel around and or remove. And he did say consequences are going to happen. So who? Think about any sports team, right? The team principal is like the coach. You go to NBA, you can go to NFL, anything like that. When the team have players that they believe they can win with, or it's the best opportunity for them at the current time with what the landscape looks like for free agency. You can look at right now Doc Rivers getting kicked out with Philly right now. I know that might hurt somebody right now. Embiid, Tommy Tuck Embiid, they got kicked out. Doc Rivers is like, it's a make or miss league. Well, Doc, they're not really wanting to hear that. And they're not going to get rid of Embiid. I don't think they get rid of Harden unless he wants to go somewhere. So what are they going to do? They're gonna change the coach likely. If they do anything, they're going to change the coach. I mean, you can look at supporting role players around that, aren't kind of nameless faces, but more than likely the coach could lose his job. And they're going to get another coach in there to see if he can bring that motivation to the team, if he can bring that determination, if he can instill that uproar and that fire in the team to get them off of their seats, because that's what a captain, that's what a leader in the battle is supposed to do. I'm supposed to be able to walk in that ready room. I'm supposed to be able to look all my soldiers in their face and tell them, we're going in here for war. There's no guarantee we're coming out, but we're not worried about that. We're not worried about going back. We're only worried about going forward. Everybody might not make it, but everybody's coming home. You got to have somebody that can go in and ready people up. You got to have somebody that can go in and get people fired up and lit to go out for battle and don't worry about anything else but the objective at any cost. Otmar might not be that person. And I can tell you right now, Rossi, what you doing, I definitely don't want you in my ready room. I don't, bro. I do not want you in my ready room. I'm trying to tell you. He coming there talking about your life insurance just went down 500%. When you die, your family gets nothing. Yeah, I'm be like, damn, should I really go out here and fight for my country? Like, I'm just telling you, he's not that guy. I'm just saying it's that bad. Spider R35 says Alpine CEO needs to start moving like Gene Haas, because Gunther calls him every 2 seconds, even if the car gets some dust on it. Yo, I'm thinking about Genie Bus from the Lakers, but Gene Haas, yes. Yo, Spider R35 is not lying. How many times have we heard Gunther say, I need to call Gene? Man, I just took a shit. I need to call Gene. Oh, man, listen. We changed those tires. Was it the right temperature, right pressure? All right, let me call Gene and check on that. Damn, Gasly and Ocon, let me call Gene. Matter of fact, you didn't even see him call Gene. He was off in the motorhome calling Gene already. Gunther is going to call Gene for any and everything. I'm not lying. Gene got Gunther on tap. Like, bro, I got a new phone. I got the iPhone 16 with 6G. And it's only for you and me. You call me anytime, any day and night, and Gunther will call Gene ASAP. That's no lie. All right, so we're about to get into our next segment. All right, so Alpine, do you believe in them? Matter of fact, I'm gonna put a poll in the chat, and this is what I want to know: do you believe Alpine can make, let's say, fourth again? Because that's where I think it is. Do you think Alpine can make fourth again? I think really that's a realistic target for Alpine in this time in this season. And why do I say that? I know can you really think of anything else with the way Aston Martin has come alive this season? Can you really see Alpine outperforming Aston Martin with what you've seen from this point? Do you really think Alpine can outperform Mercedes, even in the condition of the W14 at this point? The answer factually, I listen, I know people like to be like, look, and my crystal ball tells me with all the variables that I think and I can see that this guy's going to be great one day, or that this team is going to listen. I'm looking at facts that have happened, because those ingredients are right there and made, and that's going to be an indication of where we're going. Right now, these facts they are not fourth. So it is a realistic target for them to get back to fourth. Even if that is the case, right now, we do have Ferrari, we have Red Bull, we have Aston, and we have Mercedes. Is Alpine at this point in time, or have they ever been right now from last season to this season, them being fourth last season, is only because Aston Martin did not make that jump. Aston Martin has now made that jump. So fourth would be a realistic goal, but a very hard goal. It might be quite possible that they bang their head up against fifth in the World Constructor Championship points. I do not see the only thing that could possibly save Alpine is if the lagging performance of Stroll continues throughout the season, where Alonso is the only driver that can compete for those top points, and Alpine managed to get Ocon and Gasly to take up points in 7th, 8th, 6th, 10th, continuously knocking other drivers out of there, and Stroll never really gets into the top 10 majority of the time, then they can come up as far as constructor championship points and make a run for that. But with Alonso placing third, collecting that amount of points, and on a consistent basis, let's just be honest, Alonso has third place on the podium is Alonso's seat at this point in time. That's what Alpine's going to have to do. So I don't know about this 500% markup situation. I don't buy into that. I don't know who's going to come up with that diagnosis, but as a CEO, you do need to take responsibility overall for the team and the performance of the team. And you also need to be ready to make those hard decisions to cut, trim fat, and add protein in so that you can build those Formula One muscles. All right. So let's go ahead. We're about to get into it. We boom, crashed up. We're in the third part of our segment. Going in right now, we are going to talk about Nick DeVries, the Helmut Marko pump and dump. This is listen, let me tell you where Helmut Marko came in dissing Yuki. He was dissing Yuki. Yuki ain't no number one driver. Nick DeVries is the number one driver. Nick DeVries is going to be the senior driver. Nick DeVries is going to be the next Superman to AlphaTauri coming. Nick DeVries is Max Verstappen's best buddy, spend the night in a van traveling across the lands of Dutch to race karts. Nick DeVries was the best thing coming since smoking grease on fried chicken. That's what Helmut Marko pumped that up. Nick DeVries was Helmut Marko's version of the Dogecoin. That thing came up and it went down just like that. Nick DeVries has been abysmal this season. He's been treacherous. He's been horrible. He's been wrecked up. He's been like that. And if I'm going to say anything different right now, he's been an utter disappointment. And he's with the wrong outfit. He's with the wrong team. He's with the wrong organization to be doing things such as this. You all thought Danny Rick was going to be there to keep Checo in check. Danny Rick's mission may have just changed to Nick DeVries. Will AlphaTauri ride it out with Nick DeVries doing what he's been doing? He ran up the back of Lando like Logan ran up the back of him. He wrecked. He did the Charles Leclerc routine in quali and in the race. Okay. Now all these awesome accolades that we talked about. Me too. I'm talking about me too. I didn't diss Yuki like that. I mean, Yuki, I judged. I don't, let me not say judge. I gave my perspective on Yuki based on Yuki's performance. All right. With Nick DeVries' resume and what he did for Williams and in Monza and coming off the couch and showing everybody race pace and putting Williams in points. I mean, I credited him for what he did and what he had done, Formula E champion, F2, like all the things that he got. I said, there's no reason why this guy, as seasoned as he is, shouldn't come in and do some things. And he has been doing some things, and some of those things are nothing. Nick DeVries has been a disappointment. Marco, you pumped him up and you disrespected Yuki, and Yuki has done nothing short of trying to get that car and putting that car in points for AlphaTauri, the only driver to do so. Nick DeVries has been banging his head against 14th since then, and Galacticus told you all he was going to give him 3 races. That's what he gave him, and he didn't do nothing with it. Galacticus over in the Super Chat says, Nick let everyone down. We were rooting for you, and that's true. And I'm going to say this. And I'm going to put a poll in the chat about this. I think, and this, I'm just telling you what I think. I'm going to put it in a poll in the chat. Did Nick DeVries get the support by being tied to Merck? That's what I'm going to ask you. Maybe Nick DeVries got the positive support because he was tied to Mercedes, because of the things he was doing. You know, he was on the talk show, the show before the race, and he did some testing. And I thought maybe, Nick, you need to go to one of those teams, like Williams. I don't think Aston was going to take a chance on him, especially with Alonso being available. Williams, and also the reserve driver role for Mercedes. Like, all of that was good for him. Nick moved to AlphaTauri with his best friend, and Max and Red Bull, and trying to make that bromance connection. And Nick DeVries might come in and have a very short career in Formula One. Mary Bean in the Super Chat says, my condolences to Artistic, who lost his son. Yo, I'm not even finna continue. Listen, I'm finna say this right now. Artistic, always been here, loyal supporter. Listen, shit. Condolences, bro. Condolences. on the loss of your son, man, that's unless you've been through it, you can't even say you can empathize with it. You know, my grandmother lost her son, which was my uncle, when I was 10, murdered. So I can't understand what it is to lose a child. I could just know that that is a fear that I live with every day in a crazy world and things that happen with these school shootings and everything else. And I don't care about interrupting this show to talk about this because that's very important. Somebody just lost a kid. Condolences and a moment of silence for that. Brother, I wish you the best, positive energy, love, whatever it's going to be, because you're going to need it to make it through that time. But what I do know is you can make it through that time one day at a time, and don't try to take any more than that. All right, you got a family here. If you need to reach out and talk, if you need to reach out and get a positive word here or there, do that because you need that, okay? So big shout out, blessed up. That's rough. Something like that almost makes you not even want to continue because nothing's more important than family, all right, especially your kids. So blessed up on that, man. So things, and you know what brings that in? Like Nick DeVries has this opportunity. All right, he has an opportunity that many want in life. And right now he has an opportunity to do something with a Formula One career. Look at how many people did not get that opportunity. Either because they didn't wake up this morning or you know, they just couldn't do anything with it, or they had their opportunity, they lost it. Ayrton Senna. So, yeah, we'll do that. Will's going to take a call. Nick DeBreeze. Nick DeBreeze. So we got Charles LaCrash and we got Nick DeBreeze. Let's go, baby. Let's go. F1 minute. Take it.
All right, so I'll start it off again. I'll send my condolences as well, and I threw it in the chat as well, but let me send my condolences. It's a lot more important than what we're doing here, so, just make sure I send my condolences. Nick DeBreeze, the whole thing, I send that because back in, I think it was Mexico 2022, when Carlos Sainz said that over the radio, and he thought they were saying debris on the track, but it was DeVries. So he's kind of really living up to his name as far as that goes. So I can't let that one go because that was like the premonition of things to come. Like, wow. He's really let everybody down. I mean, he drove for 5 different teams. I mean, you've got Alpine, Merck, AlphaTauri, Aston Martin, Williams. I mean, I think the Monza thing, I was drinking the Monza juice too. I think we all were drinking that Monza Kool-Aid. It was just, but at the same time, Monza is one of those races, exactly. Monza is one of those races that it can catch people out. I mean, look at 2021. You take the two people that are fighting for a championship out, and you get the Ricardo McLaren win. Kind of the same thing, isn't it? And that
you talking about that race with somebody parked on top of somebody's head? You talking about?
Oh yeah, he parked on top of his head like it was parking his car at a Tesco over in the UK.
Got you.
Yeah, one of those. He thought it was a parking spot. And it's you take some of these variables, these things that happen in these races, people can show up and show out. So I feel like it kind of masks some of the things as far as some of his issues coming into this car now in an AlphaTauri that really isn't that great, but. Let's just give Yuki Tsunoda some credit for being 10th and 11th in pretty much every single race. It's my boy right there.
Facts. You wish it was your boy and he was a rookie right now, but he's not. Logan Sargent's your rookie, and Oscar Piastri is my rookie. You wish Yuki was a rookie right now because you'd be killing me right now in that thing. Oh, my gosh. I know Will's going to come back. I did it on purpose. I know he's coming back. Galactica says, you think Danny will take Nick's spot early or 24? Okay, that's what I was going to say. I think. Big shout out Galactus for the super chat over to YouTube Live as we got other people in the studio live. This is where things are going to get hairy. This is where things are going to get dicey, okay? We're talking about Danny Rick possibly taking over the position for Nick DeVries in the junior team of Red Bull, in which he was in the senior portion of the Red Bull, the whole scheme of things. Is that what Danny Rick really wants to do, right? Because I talked about, like, why go to Haas if you go to Haas and you get outperformed. I said this last season going into this season. Danny Rick goes to Haas and then gets outperformed by K-Mag. That don't look good for him. And then if you get outperformed in one of the worst teams in Formula One since they've been in, then that definitely don't look good for you, okay? So now it's even more of a treacherous decision because Yuki right now is outperforming a driver which Will said we drunk the Kool-Aid on, and it was good. It was good juice made. It was Tom Jones juice. It was good juice made. It was killer juice. All right, but it was mixed with ingredients. It was like, yo, that juice right there looks good. Okay, all the accolades that he had in other feeder series of formula. Then we talk about him testing for several different teams that we saw. Then from going to testing to being called in like last minute for a team that we do not expect to make points, and he puts that team in points in one race. You're not bad for buying the pump and dump helmet Marco Dogecoin. All right, you're not bad for buying it. You just miss the there was a small peephole. It's like a block or two. You see somebody from block or two, like, oh man, that person looked good. Next thing you know, that block or two comes to a block, and you're like, yeah, they look straight right there. Then the next thing you know, that person block or two comes to 100 yards. You're like, oh yeah. Then next thing you know, it's 20 yards. You're like, oh 20 yards, you passing by, you're not going to say nothing. That's what Nick DeVries did to it. He was a block or two. He got up on us, and we realized, he was a horrible cockadoo. I'm trying to tell you. Nick DeVries is Nick DeVries. That's what he's done. So Danny Rick taking that spot puts himself in a very compromising situation if he's not ready. Okay, he already was struggling with the McLaren, and he was saying that car was difficult to drive. It was hard for him to get a handle on. It also speaks to his ability not to adapt, because Lando did far better than he did in that car. So that means that there was some attributes there that he could have adapted to if he had the ability, but he was unable to. So does he put himself in another situation? Because right now we know AlphaTauri is not necessarily having the best season, although Yuki is making the best out of a bad season and bad situation with the team by putting the team in points and like being right there 11th, and 10th, knocking on the door, getting in for those points that I also said I was looking for Williams to consistently get those 10 and those 9th, 8th spot points on a continuous basis. We're still waiting for that to take place. We'll see what happens, but Yuki has done that. So if Danny Rick comes in and then Yuki suns him like he's sunning DeVries, Danny Rick's career was already looked at as over, but it is surely over at that point in time. And if that is the case, that might be a saving grace for DeVries to make sure he goes back into maybe a reserve driver role somewhere and not completely kicked out of Formula One. But if Danny Rick comes there and performs after taking a hiatus, kind of like Kyrie Irving did, and he comes back and then he outperforms Yuki and puts AlphaTauri in another car along with Yuki that can score points. We got Yuki 10. Maybe Yuki does better. And then Danny Rick comes in and knocks off some 7th, 8th place points. Yo, that's a saving grace. I know you don't look at it like that, but that's a saving grace for Nick. All right, that right there is, that's not a saving grace for Nick. It's kind of indictment, but it's like, hey, Danny Rick, it's not a saving grace. Danny Rick left on a hiatus. He comes back and he does that. You was doing all of this and you did that. No, that ain't looking good for you. That's not looking good for you. If Danny Rick comes in and underperforms, it could be saving for DeVries. But if he don't, that's so Danny Rick got some hard decisions to make. Will coming in says Danny Rick, Logan, maybe. All right, let's go, bro. You got your F1 minute, Val.
Danny Ricky, Logan, maybe. Yeah. So
let's go.
This whole thing with Ricardo, the seat fitting, which was pretty interesting. They made this whole big thing about, well, it came out afterward. They didn't realize that there was like a timing issue where there were some reports that it wasn't that he was going there for the seat fitting for DeVries, that it was this whole thing that he was going to the wedding for Stroll's daughter or something like that. But what they didn't report was that the seat fitting happened prior to the Miami GP. Like, it wasn't like he went for that specific purpose, and AlphaTauri kept it under wraps to make it seem as if he wasn't going there to take DeVries' seat. But for it to leak, it just brings up that whole Marco thing where he's just pretty much trying to put pressure on DeVries. And that other thing is, again, he did make that claim that, hey, you got to buck up by Barcelona. So there's also that too, where he needs to figure it out. Whatever it is that's going on with DeVries right now, he needs to figure it out, because Marco's already, coming at him with the whole, hey, by Barcelona, we're going to see some improvements. And
right.
Logan Sargent, come on. I know we go back and forth, but we're going to see what happens in Imola. I think Williams is bringing some upgrades. We're going to see what happens. I know. P19, I know. But I think we'll see some improvements. We'll see.
All right. Hey, we on it. Hey, me and my boy hey, we on it right now. Your man's Will. We on this rookie thing right now. My rookie's Oscar, his rookie's Logan. He grabbed Logan first. He probably saved me, you know what I'm saying? Because I would have grabbed Logan as the most recent American driver in Formula One, but he probably saved me. So I grabbed the problem child, the one who caused it a custody dispute between Alpine and McLaren. I got Oscar right now. Right now I'm up. Oscar got me up, living life, you know what I'm saying? So maybe that's something that Rossi could have did, right? Maybe Rossi could have took the Helmut Marko approach, which I don't, it's crazy for me to say somebody take the Helmut Marko approach. There's a lot of approaches that Helmut Marko has I do not agree with. I do not agree with him making statements about Perez being drunk on tequila because Russell got the best of him off the restart. That was disrespectful. I don't agree with a lot of things he said about Lewis Hamilton. That's been disrespectful. I don't agree with how he talked to Nick DeVries in against Yuki when Nick DeVries was coming in. That was disrespectful. And Yuki evidently took that hate and turned it into some motivate. Hate Motivates is on YouTube. It's on iTunes. Check out the song Hate Motivates. It's all about trying to be positive, and people that hate on you take that hate and turn it into positive movement. All right. Wolfpack got songs out there. So yeah, so that right there is maybe something that Rossi could have did. Maybe Rossi, instead of saying what he said out loud and on several different interviews, maybe he just does an interview with a potential team principal and leaks that. How's that come off? Like, oh, Rossi interviews to a potential team principal candidate. Like, wait a minute. I'm more looking at his uniform. Like, I still got my shirt on. And hey, Gasly, am I still in pink and blue or that my clothes still right? Okay. So I still got a job or no? I don't know, bro. You better go find out, or you better do something to get right. Because if you broke right now, you better get fixed. Because Rossi about to tune you up, bro. Maybe Rossi should have took that approach. Maybe that's something he should have done. But yeah, as far as that, AlphaTauri also, Mikey's coming in from Ferrari. They got Peter Bear coming in, which was a Formula One, I think, former FIA, former executive along. He is also a fellow Austrian CEO role in AlphaTauri. So Toss is gonna be on the way out. And then you got Yuki there, doing his thing. Nick DeVries not doing so much. So could we see a replacement? I don't know. That's going to be up on Danny Rick, but I want to tell him, don't be so quick to take that seat, bro. I think Nick DeVries, and I say this very seriously. I know I joke a lot. I know make clown. I know I do a lot of things. And, I can be harsh and brash, but I'm being very serious when I say this is not a condescending thing. It's not a joke. It's not something that I'm being harsh about. I'm being very serious. It's possible that Nick may need to sit and talk to somebody. Mentally, he may have thought he was ready for this opportunity. And then it is a very different thing to be in this situation, actually in the eye of the storm, and mentally things can change for a person. And he may be overwhelmed. He may have found himself in a place that he totally underestimated based off everything else that he's done. And now that he's actually in the seat, it is something that is not comfortable for him. And therefore, his driving is revealing that. All right. So it might be possible that they need to look at letting him go talk to somebody to see if mentally there's a block there. Mentally, is there something going on that's holding you back, that's not allowing you to do the things that we thought or have seen you do in other series and in other cars and for other teams that you're not doing here? I think that that's an option that definitely needs to be explored on a very serious note. And I'm very serious about that. I think he needs that opportunity before they just boot him, because it's not that they have a responsibility to make sure that that man is okay emotionally and mentally, right? Everybody's responsible for that, but it is good to know that other people will take a helping hand or a shoulder or an ear or an eye and kind of look out for you and say, hey, let's get you some help. Let's explore some other opportunities. Let's explore some options and see if there's something really deeper than what we're looking at as just performance. And maybe unlocking that will unlock Nick DeVries to turn into Nick DeVries again. All right. So I think AlphaTauri, you need to look into that. Please look into that. Give that young man an opportunity. It's very early in the season, and don't just boot him so quickly. You can indeed damage him. And like I said, it's not necessarily your responsibility, but it does say something about the integrity of a team if they look out for a person like that. So I would be looking for them to do that. And we're going to get into our last segment right now. We're about to get into our last segment. We're about to go in, and the last segment is this: Drive to Survive. Will it survive? Okay. Now we got some numbers right here. Now I know a lot, trust me, a lot of idiots try to clown people because they came into the sport of Formula One based off the Netflix series Drive to Survive. do know that Formula One produced that product for that said reason? Like they are looking to reach out to new audience, to bring in new audience. So for people to diss people because all of a sudden they were watching Netflix one day and a trailer popped up and they were like, what's this? And they clicked on it and they realized, I like this. And then they started watching the season, and now you got all these idiots talking about, oh, you're a DTS fan. You don't know anything about Formula One. You didn't know anything about Formula One the first time you started watching it. Did you forget that? Did you think you just came out the womb knowing about Formula One? Did you really think that? If you think that, you're more of an idiot than I just called you. You're a 500% Rossi idiot. You're 500% more of an idiot than you think you are. Okay? People come in and get exposed to sports at different points and times in their life. Nobody should discredit them because right there and then they can learn. All right. And you don't know, everybody's depth of wanting to go into something is not the same as everybody else. Maybe they just like watching the races. They don't want to know every driver. They don't want to understand every team and how they change teams and how they change chassis and how they change sponsors and how Haas lost Rich Energy or maybe Nico and Hamilton or Alonso paying people. They don't want to know all that. They just like to watch the entertainment. They like to see it on Sunday, and that's fine. But at this point in time, do you all believe that what is taking place in Formula One with Red Bull, with these teams, with the era of cars, do you think it is good or bad for Drive to Survive as a product? There are and have been a lot of people in comments, in live chats, okay, in spaces that have said, I've had people literally message me and say, Wolfpack, I'm going to have to take a break from Formula One. I can't watch this no more. Like literally. No BS. Okay. Don't forget. Like I showed you earlier in the soft topic. Red Bull was talking about the same thing. They was talking about leaving Formula One altogether because they were tired of Mercedes winning. They was talking about quitting. That's what they was talking about doing until the whole debacle and everything got given their way. A spoiled brat crying, they got their way. So this is a real thing that's happening. But I will bear to say some of these numbers, maybe not as accurate as maybe other numbers. You can find some and see what you think about yourself. Galactica says F1 needs DTS. They need new fans or it will die off. And that is true. You need to have new fans coming in to replenish older fans. Some fans get older, they leave. Some fans get older, they pass on. Some fans just don't want to watch Formula One. You need to replenish the ranks. They have to do that if they want to be a surviving organization. A surviving business knows that we consistently need to create new clients. We need to attract new clientele. We need to get more money in from different avenues. We need to have more revenue streams, more products. They know this. You evidently don't know that that's how business works because maybe you don't have a business. And if you have a business, there's no way you would say that this is a bad thing. Maybe you don't like somebody's opinion about the sport, but you would never say that, oh, new clients and new fans coming into the sport is horrible. Like for the sport, it's not. You don't own the sport. You probably don't have a stake in the sport. So even for you, it's not. You just thought you'd involve yourself in somebody else's life and in somebody else's business and thought you'd say something. And really, it's asinine. Okay. So right now we got some numbers right here. Formula One US TV viewership averages. All right. Pre-race averages. Okay. In 2017, 538,000. 2018, 554,000 per race average. This is 2019, 672,000, almost 100,000 increase right there, just shy of it. 2020, 608, takes a small dip. 2021 has a massive influx at 949,000, and in 2022, 1.21 million. All right. Then Drive to Survive week one audiences. Okay, so what you have here is you have numbers that say Drive to Survive being viewed because people who are coming in that are aware of the new season coming up, like season 3, like season 5, they decide that, you know what, I want to kind of know what's going on before I watch the new season. So, Spider R35, things that would make for better racing. I'm all for that. Spider R35, let's go. Browser not supported. Spider R35, you got to go ahead, bro. You got to go ahead and get the right browser. If you're not, listen, this is what I will tell you all. Let me let you know this right now. You need to be on a Edge or Google Chrome browser. All right. Edge or Google Chrome. Don't be on Firefox. Don't be on anything else. Don't be on Explorer. It's going to be Edge or Google Chrome in order for you to access the live call-in correctly. So, If you're on that browser, switch out of that browser, go to a Google Chrome or go to an Edge browser, and then come back in and do your live call in, please, so we can get you on for your F1 minute. But yes, so for these numbers right here, like I said, I'll give you numbers for people that watched the previous season so that they can then go and watch the new current season. So viewership in 2019, 288,000. Past season viewership, nothing right there, right? No numbers for that. Then in 2020, viewership was 199,000, but people were watching the previous season before they watched that season at 32,416. These are approximate figures. All right, don't nail me that to the cross. Also, season 2021, 243,000. This is first week. This is week one only, not entirely through this season. 243,445, but 57,000 people watched the previous season before watching that season. And in 2022, 407,000, almost 170 something more thousand people right there. But then 68,000 people watched the previous season before watching that season. 2023, they're expecting 569,884 people, but 73,000 went back and watched season 4 before watching season 5. So evidently, Will coming in on the DTS. Let's go. All right, brother, you got your F1 minute. Go for it. DTS, what you got?
All right, so the show itself, I think that it's not really a DTS thing. It's more of a Netflix thing. So if you look at what Netflix usually does, they drop a lot of shows, movies, things like that every single year, depending on what's underperforming. So if Formula One itself, if FOM and Liberty Media are definitely the numbers are up, as you just were talking about as far as Formula One numbers, and not just what you're seeing on DTS. That's still going to follow through with Drive to Survive. I know that overall, Netflix, not Drive to Survive, Netflix is down a little bit this year. I think down maybe like 250,000 subscribers, but they're up 8% from last year. So this is one of those things that some things will fall off, some things will continue to grow. And as long as they're still doing what they're doing here in the States, it's going to continue to grow. That's why they've added another circuit. These are things that I know some people, as far as the hardcore fans, might not necessarily like. But
Right.
again, the show isn't really for the hardcore fan. I watched 2, maybe 3 episodes out of all of the seasons just to see what it was like. And it is hard as a hardcore fan to watch it because you know that it's being dramatized, it's definitely being produced. The sounds don't match up. I mean, we all know that the stories and everything don't match up. They create drama when there isn't. So it's not really for the hardcore fan that's always going to be there anyway. They are trying to build a greater audience with younger people and whatever that demographic is for them.
Right. And Will makes a valid point right there, my bro. Like they do, it is dramatization. But I will say, some things that people thought Drive to Survive overhyped, I think they were kind of not far from it. Okay, I do think there was a slight rift there, with Danny and Lando. They kind of portrayed, but I don't know if it was so much directly Danny and Lando, more so than it was Danny and the team, and Danny just not able to get on board and do what he needed to do. And it was there. Zach was not happy with his performance. He was not, and Zach made a move to replace him. So maybe not correctly portrayed, but there was some definitely drama there. Then you get into the whole situation with Hamilton and Red Bull. Well, that definitely was drama because we saw Christian right there tell basically the TV he watching Hamilton. He told him to shut the F up. And so, that's true. Oh, Spider, thanks for better racing. All right, Spider R35 coming in. Let's see if he got it right. Boom! He in. What's up, bro? I see you with the shirt, bro.
What's going on, man?
I see you. Go ahead, bro. You got your F1 minute. Pop tall.
Like every other junkie, I was watching a lot of podcasts after the races. So I was watching the Sky Sports podcast, and Corinne Shanduk, he had said that for years he'd been trying to get F1 to require every team to use every single compound on the dry races. So they have to use a soft, they have to use a medium, and they have to use a hard, which will change up strategies and will make better racing. Because now, if you're the front runner and you didn't use your softs yet on a track that kills softs, you'll have to use your soft even for 3 laps, 4 laps. I think that will make for way better racing than what's going on now.
Yo, you still got 30 seconds. You got anything else to add?
Just want to give my condolences to Artistic.
Thanks.
And congratulations to Wildcat. I've been watching you since we've been racing, since we started. my wheel not really working right now, so I've been trying to troubleshoot
Okay.
that for the longest. But just congratulations, and want to hear what you're
That
on that
tire
topic.
situation.
Yeah.
Bad, bro. Yo, that hey, Spider 35. Thank you, bro, for making that happen too, working that out. Man, listen, hey, he came up with one right there. We have been on this channel talking about things that can make racing better, all the way from free practice to qualifying to the way the sprints are formatted. Even we've recently just talked about Pirelli and their compounds with Perez and Max. Listen, people all want to go on. Perez would have been okay on the hards. Now, at the end of the race, would he had outperformed Max would have been another question, but he would have been in far better position to do so at the end of the race had he been on those hards, and probably I believe so. But Spider R35 brings up, and Galacticus, big shout out for the super chat, says DTS has increased all ticket sales. Numbers don't lie. Numbers do not lie. But you can take numbers and make them try to support your own meaning, but he ain't lying. Like, if the numbers is up, the numbers is up. But Spider R35 brings up, man, that's very interesting. And I do think that is something that can be implemented to make racing better, because now you have to take that chance. You have to go out on a tire that you don't necessarily like. Like Max did not like those mediums. And yeah, I know C3, C4, whatever, okay? Medium compound ingredient ain't great this season. It's not, okay? That means Max would have had to take on that medium at some point in time before then, or the softs, and it's going to mix it up. Or any other driver would have to do that. And I do think, just thinking about this right now short term doesn't mean my opinion can't change later as I sit and think about it more. I think that implementing something like that could make the driving more challenging. And that's where my epicenter is, challenging for competition. If you do something that will bring about challenge and breed good competition, you will therefore get your entertainment. Okay, you can't beat Wolfpack Epic Grudge Race Series. We got entertainment because we got good competition. All right, we do things to try to neutralize other additives that people can have and try to just make it kind of equal and take some things out, and it brings about good competition. That's what we're going to be doing when we do our giveaway. Like you see here, commercial time, win it all, F1 eSport competition, Fanatic steering wheel, base, and pedals. You could win if you participate in the F1 Wolfpack Grudge Racing Series. After the F1 season is over, be a member of the channel for 6 months or more is what makes you eligible to participate in that. Plus, we will have other prizes sponsored by other family members, honey buns, swag, shirts, hats, and possibly keychains. Still working on that, but either way it goes, there's going to be a winner. Plus, do not forget, when you come here for quality or free practice this week, don't forget we're going to have trivia games. Those trivia games lead to you getting money. $25 or $50 Visa gift card. Freak Dogs Flair got the first $50 gift card. Will has collected over $75 worth of Visa gift cards, and you can collect your gift card if you come participate in trivia games. You might win that money. I always pay up. I'm going to tell you that right now. Will coming in on it. Let's go, bro. What you got, bro?
Final thoughts.
Let's
Here
make
we
it pop.
go.
All right.
So, don't forget about the F1 Fantasy, everybody. I know we've been running that league and all that, so let's do a little quick rundown on the F1 Fantasy.
Indeed.
So we've got Algorithm in first place with 1,579 points. Arisham the Judge with 1,499 points. Freak Dogs Flair, 1,291 in third place. He moved up to third place. Grid Hotties moved down to fourth, 1,249. I'm in fourth, tied with Grid Hotties. We're tied, which is crazy. 1,249.
crazy.
So there we go. Still in fourth. We're fighting for that podium. We're coming on your heels, Freak Dogs. I know you're out there. We're coming for you. Then Head Turners Racing, number 2, 1122.
Okay.
Behave Dave at 1094. Galactus Power Cosmic, 1093. Blue Diva just moved up to 9th, 936. And Head Turners Racing down in 10th at 934. We got a lot to fight for, though. We got plenty more to fight for. And the other
Okay.
thing I wanted to talk about was, so I've been looking at the Leclercs, okay? And I think it's worth watching which Leclerc is going to come out on top from F2 or F1. So I'm calling this the clock watch, okay? So I'm watching both of them right now. Now,
Okay.
how many podiums, okay, yeah, how many podiums do you think both Leclercs have right now, if you had to take a guess?
I think Charles only got 2.
Charles got one.
He got one. He got one this season already. Just one. Yeah, last season by this time he had damn near what, 4 or 5? He had
Yeah,
5 by last
exactly.
season. Right. He was short. He's short as hell this season.
This season he's got 1.
So then the
Arthur
other
has-
Leclerc, let's say, what he got? Let's say 3.
Arthur has 1. 1. their podiums. Wait, here's the thing. They both
It's a household thing.
they both have third place podiums so far. That's the
true.
highest they've ranked so far. Now,
It's hereditary.
points, they're tied at 34 points. Out of all the
Whoa,
races so
hey.
far.
We gotta put a Leclerc watch on.
Listen, this is the clock watch. I'm calling it the clock watch
The Leclerc
because
watch.
Charles Leclerc is on the clock. Okay.
And he had his watch stolen, by the way.
He did exactly. He had his watch stolen. He couldn't even catch him in the pista. I don't understand what's going on. That's messed up. That's messed up. No, I shouldn't even do that. That's messed up. That's messed. Armed robbery is not cool. That's not cool, folks. It's not cool. I'm not condoning that. But he's on the clock watch, and I say that because if this is what I think they should do. If he does not beat his brother by the end of the season, they're tied at 34 points. And they both have a podium, third place podium so far this season. If he does not beat Arthur Leclerc, swap him out. Put Arthur Leclerc in. Charles Leclerc is out of Ferrari. I know that sounds crazy. Hot take. It's another hot take. If he does not do better than Arthur Leclerc at F2, Charles got to go. He's got to find another place to go. I don't know. Another team.
Yo.
Something. He has to beat his brother. And I say this because as a middle brother and having an older brother, we compete all the time with everything.
Right.
I talk to you guys
Right.
about the go-karting stuff and all that we do. Okay.
Facts.
There's no way my older brother would be okay with losing the beat. Look at Michael Schumacher and Ralph Schumacher. There's no
There
way
you
he
go.
would
I was just
beat
gonna say-
Ralph or beat him. No.
Right.
So that's my final take on that. The clock watch.
Yeah.
We got to see what happens throughout these two seasons with the two of them.
Yo, the Leclerc watch, I'm with it. And yes, we do not support armed robbery. Armed robbery is not supported here. That did happen, and that is very coincidental. Spider R35s, the clear evidence is two stoppers are better races than one stoppers. A two stopper on the track like Monaco would make it way better than the snooze fest. Monaco is a snooze fest, and I have been one that is okay to see Monaco go. Like, it's all the stars come out there, but I ain't gonna lie, Miami might be the new Monaco as far as stars. Like, they've already tried to mimic the whole yacht thing, which is just fake. It ain't nowhere near like Monaco. But yo, the stars came out for Miami. Another M. Miami could replace Monaco. Really. Miami is a better circuit. It's a better track. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's more developed. They're developing more for these new era cars. Monaco could go. Miami could come in. That indeed could be where the situation is. If Monaco stays, they need to make changes. And Stefano De Monaco has said this. These older tracks are not just going to stick around because of, heritage and nostalgia. They're going to have to make changes, updates, upgrades to facilitate the direction that Formula One is going in. And if Monaco can't do that, it shouldn't be allowed just to sit on the schedule because it's Monaco. Miami did just fine bringing the stars out. No lie. Go back, go look, okay? And then after Miami, because of the little break they have, Formula One stars, they're traveling around to U.S. venues, baseball games, basketball games where LeBron is closing out, you know what I'm saying, Golden State. They're listen, Miami could replace Monaco easy star-studded, easy a better location as far as the beach and the life and the club live and the diamonds. Man, don't get you started on Miami, okay? But anyway, Drive to Survive. Definitely, I believe will survive. I think it's an older head or people who want to try to diss newer fans coming in. They try to use Drive to Survive as a stone. But what they actually end up doing, I've said this many times, is they turn the fan on full blast, stand right in front of that fan, spit in the fan, and this fan just, that's what you did to yourself. New fans are welcome to me. Please come on in. Don't be worried about how much or how little you know. You can learn along the way, or you choose to be in at your own scale and how you want to. Don't judge people how they want to enjoy the sport. It's not your business. It's not your place. And it damn sure ain't why you here on earth. So with that being said, this is another dope episode of F1 Minute, the dopest live show in Formula One space on the planet. It's because of you, not because of me. It's for you, not for me to come on and give you a take. Like I said, next time, if you didn't make it this time, you missed us. It's okay. You can come back and catch us next go round. We will be here back again next Monday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, PM, for you to have your F1 Minute. That's another great show. Thank you all for participating. Once again, condolences out to the